We were in an interesting spot. There were three of us who started Contently. One of us had a successful business before, a startup that he had run, grown to 4 million members, is doing well, it was making revenue. He was in a pretty secure spot. He had just bought a condo. So he was in good shape where he was actually making sort of some passive income where he didn't have to deplete a lot of his savings when he jumped into Contently. The other co-founder, he had just finished law school, so he had some big student debt, but he also owned his own apartment, so he had very little sort of fixed costs. And then there was me. I had just finished school, and so I had a lot of student debt, and I had gigantic credit card bills. So I was sort of the least responsible of the bunch, you know, and we had to basically calculate how long we could, as a trio, survive before we ran out of money. So we gave ourselves a deadline, looking at my finances and Dave's finances. The one who's a former lawyer, who's now our CTO, we decided that we had 6 months before we basically were going to be bankrupt as individuals. So we gave ourselves a 6-month time frame to prove out that this was a business and that the concepts and the trends that we were seeing were actually real enough to be investable. And our backup plan was, if it was not, then we would see if we could turn this into a business that doesn't need capital, if we could turn just enough profit to support Dave and my rent, or more my rent and Dave's food and beer. So we were very cautious about that, but we also wanted to put our whole heart into it. And so we basically said on December 5th, 2010, we're quitting our lives and we're doing this. And you know, by June, if we're out of money, we're out of money. So we started raising money a few months before that June deadline. We began fundraising partially because we saw the end was coming, but partially because people were actually starting to pay us money. And so we could go to investors and say, look, we have validation because our customers are putting their money where their mouth is. And even though it's a very small sample, we were making, you know, maybe $10,000 or something by the time we raised an investment. That was enough to prove that there was a kernel of an idea here and that there was a potential business here. And early stage investors will invest at that point when there's high risk, if they believe in the vision and they believe in the entrepreneurs and they see just a tiny ounce of validation. So that was our story.